Greetings from Eat Good TV, scissoring, savoring, little is much with all in it. Today I have a special recipe for you. It's my Callaloo bread. Need our callaloo, flour, and I put the recipe in the description box. Our baking powder, just to make sure you've seen them. We need our butter and 2 tablespoons of sugar and water to mix. You can use milk, but I don't use much milk. If I'm using milk, it's almond milk or coconut milk, but I don't use the regular milk. But you can use the regular milk to mix it. Any milk of your choice to mix it. And it's a very delicious bread. And you can use spinach, you can use kale, you can use anything, any green vegetable you can use it. It cut down on the flour. If you're a diabetic, it cut down on your flour intake. First, we are going to add all our dry ingredients together. So this is a 2 tablespoons of sugar. You just add it in. Then we have our baking powder. As much as it's self-rising flour, I have baking powder, because sometimes you buy the flour from the store and it's very stale, so sometimes the baking powder don't rise enough that they put in the self-rising flour. So just add a teaspoon of baking powder. Then we're just gonna mix that together. So this we have to use our hand to do it. We can't use no gloves. Sometimes I wear gloves on the show, sometimes I don't, because not everything you can use gloves. Then this butter is frozen, so you break this butter and put inside. So I'm just gonna wait until it's unfrozen a bit, then I just break it up in here. But this one I'm gonna crumble inside, because you want the bread to be moist, inside of the bread to be moist. So I'm gonna crumble this butter in the flour, so it go right through the flour. The butter feel like it can crumble now. Let me check it out. Yes, it can crumble. So you just break your pieces of butter, because you want inside that bread to be moist and delicious. You break up your butter. And what you're gonna do, you're just gonna crumble it inside of it. And that's why you see pastry dough is so delicious, because of this method right here. All pastry dough is so delicious and nice, and the bread is gonna be nice and moist and delicious. And with the callaloo in there, oh yeah, it's gonna be so good. You're gonna freeze a half of your bread, because I'm gonna make this big one. But what I do, I put it in a cling wrap, then I foil paper it, then I put it in a Ziploc bag, and then I put it in a brown bag, and I just tape it and leave it in the freezer. Anytime I want to eat, I just eat it. Yeah. And you're just gonna get everything, the flour working with the butter. So now is the time to add your callaloo. So we add the callaloo in. Mix our callaloo in. And the callaloo really cut down the starch in the flour. So you can use callaloo, you can use kale, you can use spinach, anything, any green of your choice. Just use it to cut down the starch in the flour. And I'm a baker and a cake decorator, so I love the baking. Okay, we are just gonna add our water gradually. Just add the water gradually, a small amount at a time. Or your milk, water or milk. Just add it gradually, small amount at a time. Just add it. And once everything is coated with the water or the milk. Then you're just gonna form it and put it in the pan and let it sit for, I like it to sit for 15 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes after I put it in the pan, before I put it in the oven. At least 15 minutes. Add some flour to the surface. Make sure your surface is very clean. I just add some flour here to the surface. Make sure your surface is clean. And this is the pan that I'm using for the bread. I grease it with butter and I just coat it in flour. Just put some flour in there and coat it and make sure it's coated all around. This one is nicely coated. If you can see it. Nicely coated inside. And here now is the dough. I'm just gonna take it out here. See how nice, the dough is all nice. So I'm just gonna pour it out. I'm just gonna pour it out. And we are not gonna knead it, we're just gonna roll it. We want it to be nice. So I'm gonna roll it around the length of the pan. No kneading, just rolling it. Just gonna roll it to the length of the pan. Then I'm gonna place it in the pan for baking. Yeah, I'm just gonna fix it to the length of the pan. And I'm just gonna put it in for baking. Take off a little of the excess flour. And I'm just gonna bake it. Preheat your oven at 350 degrees and place the bread in the pan for baking. This is your nice, delicious Callaloo bread. Morning time, you can have it with your tea or your coffee or your juice, whatever you want to have it with. You can have it with. Nice long bread. That's why I say you can always freeze a half. You don't want to use all of it. Okay, I'm gonna get it in this pan here. Oh, I should let me use my scooper and take it up. Just brush your Callaloo bread with melted butter. And I like to cover it with saran wrap so it stays moist. This is your cooked bread fresh out of the oven. And you brush the sides. When you take it out, brush the sides too. But you have to leave it to cool at least 20 minutes. And you remove it and brush the sides. This bread is smelling up the place. I just need a cup of hot chocolate, the Jamaican hot chocolate with the grease on top of it. That natural chocolate cocoa tea. That natural cocoa tea with the grease on top of it will do well with this. Or a cup of hot chocolate tea, or a cup of peppermint tea. Oh yes. Or a nice cup of coffee. I'm going to show you how inside is very moist. See? It is very, very, very moist inside. See how moist it is? Inside very moist. Moist, moist, moist. Very moist. Moist and delicious. Let me taste it. So good. I'm going to put half of it in the freezer and I'll have the other half. Very, very good. Moist and delicious. See? Moist and delicious. But there you have it, family. Your Callaloo bread. Bye from Eat Good TV. Love you. Wish you all the best.